to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Not the joke we did back then. Not the paper towel joke.
The Honda joke?
I thought there was like a... Fuck, dude. I mean, it's been 300 years since the first show.
We've been doing this for 6 years now. That's bonkers.
God damn.
Think about that. 6 years without Ingress. Post Ingress. I mean, we did play for a few months in there,
Yeah.
but not nearly what we did before.
Your car was like, I don't like this. And then that quickly nipped the bud in any Ingress resurgence that we were about to have.
I was like, if I play Ingress again, I have to buy a Honda.
All right. Shit.
I'll have to trade it in for a Honda of some kind.
God. Right. Shit.
Well, it's still in the shop now, so...
Welcome to Sad Dad's Club Podcast, episode 328. This time I was prepared. I'm the Lord Foo.
And I'm Jim.
Okay, here we go.
And, yeah.
Is it still anyone call back?
I did talk to... So I sent the guy a text message on Monday. Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. Like, hey, I sent you a message to check in to see
The
what's
shop
up.
or the insurance company?
I sent you a message on the end of last week, and I didn't hear from you. I'm getting concerned.
Okay.
Let me know if you need any help from me. If this is a problem with the warranty company, that I need to know.
Right.
So that we can move forward, because I would love to have my car back at some point.
Right.
It's been this is now 2.5 weeks.
Right.
And, I sent the message, and then within 2 minutes he calls. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So I talked to him, and he said, let's give him 24 or 48 hours to see if I can get a hold of him.
Okay.
If not, I'll let you know. And I was like, well, you don't have time to sit on the phone, but I work from home, and I can just put it on speakerphone and sit there until they answer and then conference you in if I have to.
Right.
And he's like, oh, and he starts laughing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not mad at you at all. I'm not upset. I'm pretty patient when it comes to this. I'm like, you're working on the car. So it's like, I don't want to make you mad.
Right.
And so he seems like a really cool dude. He understands.
Mm-hmm.
And, but at the same time, having a warranty company that doesn't ever fucking answer the phone and has a queue that's too long for the shop to be able to sit there and wait is bullshit. They're just holding me hostage for a repair.
Sure.
And that's very frustrating. So anyway,
You didn't get...
I haven't heard anything yet.
Heard.
So,
I mean, the car does run.
it runs and it drives and I
so
can
he's
drive it
done
around.
the inspection part to prove that that's where it's at. So is there a reason he has to hold it and you can't continue to... worst case scenario... It goes out,
completely breaks,
and you know exactly what has to be replaced.
I don't know. I think that he is under the impression that there is going to be an adjuster or something that wants to come
and
examine it.
Okay.
Because
and if
that's
it wasn't there or the timing sequence, then it would be
that
reset back to start.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's part of it. I don't know. I don't know if they will actually do that or not.
Okay.
Although I think they did go to the other shop when it was there in that prior mess. I think they did actually visit
because,
them. Or no, did they send pictures?
At this point, nothing is actually being done to the car. You're playing
literally
correspondence game, and the car, it's not like your engine one, where the check engine light is coming on and something might actually fucking...
ruin an engine.
Right. This is, the car
runs.
It
runs and drives. It's fine.
You're not in a hard place necessarily.
I feel like, and he did mention this when I talked to him prior, is if it's going to be a long time before parts are available or whatever, then he was like, yeah, then you can just take it and drive it.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
But if they needed to do an assessment on site, you guys are kind of currently playing that. But you, without a callback or an actual exchange of status,
Yeah.
then you don't know.
And
So
he said he's
has
been
the car.
emailing them and that he hasn't had any replies. So that's fun.
That's crazy.
So it's just fucking, they're a terrible company.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. If you're
Is
place
there
that you're buying
a
a car
time thing that you're like, if something doesn't happen by a certain time, that it's no longer covered? Like, are you up against like a bookend?
I mean, I think it's a 10-year, 125,000 mile warranty.
Oh, okay.
So I've got time
Okay.
and mileage.
So it's not like they're dragging their feet.
Oh, maybe
hoping-
we won't have to fix it.
Right, because in 2 days it's going to be not our problem. No, okay. All right.
I've got lots of time.
Mm.
Lots of time. Because, yeah, I bought that car. So I've had it 6 years. Isn't that crazy?
You at the
In
tail end of Ingress then? What did you play with Ingress?
I bought it 2019.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's way after Ingress. What
Yeah.
car were you playing with Ingress?
The Civic.
The Civic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That went to Millie. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So, we're just playing their fucking bullshit.
Hmm.
What do they got? One guy on staff answering phones? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Shyster warranty system is shyster.
If you're going to buy a car from a dealer and you say, do you guys have extended warranties? And they tell you, oh, yeah, we got the best in the business and it's Smart Auto Care, fucking run away.
Yeah.
Run the fuck away from a Smart Auto Care warranty. I don't care what they tell you. It is not the best in the business. It is garbage trash.
Which is like shit turds. It's like double whammies.
Yeah. It's like piss urine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's happening with that. And you know what was fun? I'll tell you what was fun though.
Go.
Last night we've had some rain the last few days, which has been kind of nice.
Yeah.
I love the rain for some reason.
I had the window open last night, and Venus was like, "It's so cold in here. Why is the window open?" I'm like, "Listen to the sucking." Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I love
She
the
was
sound of it.
But
and all
it's cold.
that. So the drain I cleaned out. We talked about this.
Oh yes.
I've gone out there and checked it on several occasions, like in the middle of the rain, and it's just water flowing out of there. And I'm like, yeah,
that's right.
But the best part was last night we went to the grocery store to get stuff for dinner, and I'm walking like right under where like the garage door opens and closes. So and there's like water pissing down from the eave, but on the backside of the gutter.
Okay.
I'm all, what the hell? Where's that water coming from? And I'm just hoping I don't have some crazy fucking leak.
Right.
So I get my flashlight out of my phone and I shine it up on the eave, and there's a hole on the backside of the gutter, that water, and it's like probably 4 inches up.
Okay.
From the bottom of the gutter up the back of the gutter.
Yeah.
And the water's just pissing out of it, which tells me it's clogged.
Right.
This is the gutter I just cleaned.
Oh, because there was a lot of wind. Okay.
And so I go, what the hell? So I get the ladder out of the garage in the rain. It's raining.
Yes.
I plunk it down where the downspout is, and I reach my hand up, and sure as shit, it's 4 inches of water in the gutter.
Wow.
Full of fucking water. And I'm like, and it's water's coming out, but it's not very heavy, just sort of trickling out.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. So then I finally reach all the way in to where the hole is that goes to the downspout.
Right.
It's clogged with leaves. This is the gutter I just cleaned.
Right.
This is the story of my life.
There was a lot of wind.
Yeah.
I can only guess that that's the reason.
Well, what it ended up happening, and this was the best part, is it had clogged, like it comes from the gutter through the hole, and that goes into the downspout.
Right.
And the downspout comes down about 4 inches or so, and then hangs a turn near to the house.
Yes.
So it has this jog, and then it goes down the wall and then out the bottom.
Right.
It had clogged in that jog.
Ah.
And so I start banging on it, trying to get all the stuff in there to just jiggle loose, and because there's enough pressure that it should just push it out.
Right.
And where the downspout connects to the actual gutter, like separated slightly, and water spewed out of there like it was a fucking fire sprinkler. And it just drenched me.
Oh, it's bukkake time,
Like
baby.
I had just stepped in the shower. And I'm like, cool, man.
Great.
This is awesome.
This was before you left to go get dinner?
We had just gotten home.
Oh.
And the girls are like unloading the stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to fix this real fast. No. And then I just kept pounding.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, and I tried to like fish my new pressure washer hose into it just to like try and get it.
Yeah.
But there wasn't enough, the angle was too steep for the hose to like go through. And I'm like, God damn it. So I've got this pressure washer hose now laid out all over the place. So I just get up there and I just start, and eventually all of a sudden it just goes, and like just a shitload of dark brown leaves just turd out of the thing. And the whole thing, you could just hear it empty.
So that chunk of your gutters, then you didn't put the leaf covers on?
No.
That was on the backside of the house?
That was on the backside of the house. Yeah, this is.
I'm yesterday.
I know.
That wind was coming by, and I was waiting because yesterday it was supposed to be tons of rain through the bulk of the storm.
Yeah. And
I went and checked the rain gauge. Said it was Wednesday. I think I checked the rain gauge Monday, and I was just kind of like, this is bullshit. Like I was told there was going to be a metric ton of water, aerial flood. I got from the Amazon lady. I was getting repeat warnings about blah, 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 blah.
My phone too.
And Monday I went out to check the rain gauge, and I was just kind of like, okay,
cool, a quarter of an inch,
sure, whatever. And then
there's no flood here.
The wind warnings kicked in for yesterday, most of the day, and then the aerial flood warning started kicking in, and I'm like, yesterday there was, I think, when I checked the rain gauge this morning, I think we had just a hair over 3 inches total. But as that was coming down yesterday and the wind was kicking in, because it was blowing empty trash cans up and down the street. And I'm like, fuck, now I'm concerned. I look out the window and I can see small branches and leaves,
children,
and the kids from the middle school, they're just tumbling down,
blowing around.
You're like, well, you guys weren't prepared, blowing kids off scooters and shit. The pine tree, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get out and like rooter, because there was enough wind. I'm like, fuck, and luckily it didn't happen, because usually, right in front of the one office window, when my drain, because the front of the house shares like one giant gutter and then comes out right here in front of the garage.
Oh, really?
So
that's how that works here?
It does, because we put in the pond, so I plugged the one that's right in front of the front door. So it all. So
normally you would have two.
Normally I would have two, but it would flood the front of the house.
Yeah.
It would flood the pond, which was problematic. So if the one right here backs up,
then you're screwed.
I get a shower curtain right in front of my window, and then I know
some Niagara Fall action.
Right, I know. I gotta go.
Where's the gut? Where's the ladder?
I gotta go. Yes, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So like, and then I know.
Yeah.
But it luckily didn't plug, and I think that was because I don't know, somewhere mid-January. After the set of big storms, I went and cleaned out all of my... And that's when we were talking about you getting the grates.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should buy some too. Yeah. But I'll wait. And then you say, they're fucking amazing. They work and they fit. And, blah, blah, and I'm like... And all yesterday, I'm like, I should have bought...
And it didn't clog, though?
It didn't clog. It didn't end up clogging, but there was enough where, tomorrow I'm going to go and check and clean out to make sure that I think we're supposed to get something tomorrow, and then
through the weekend,
the bulk of the weekend, if not into next week, we're supposed to get more storms. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is get stuck and have to do the ladder shuffle
Yeah.
But I really should buy those the grates,
Yeah.
at least for the front where I know I tend to be struggling with.
Now, here is what I will say about the reason why that gutter didn't get any grates is because it's not directly under any trees. However, it does obviously get affected by the tree in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But the other problem is that when I hang Christmas lights, you can't hook onto the gutter because the gutter guard's in the way.
Mm.
So then I have to go up and cut a slit in the guard that the light hangers can go through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a process, right? Mm. And I have done it already on the gutters that are on the right side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
But this one traditionally hasn't been filling with leaves up until the last few years. Mm. So I'll probably get to it. Mm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just I just cleaned this gutter. It's clogged.
I was just here.
Yeah, and then
sons of bitches.
And then I'm like, okay, why does it have that? I don't remember it ever pissing water out of there before. I know it's been clogged. Uh-huh. So where did that hole come from? Do I need to get some tape?
Flex Seal?
Oh, I got Flex Seal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's inside the gutter anyway.
Plastic dip.
Yeah.
Flex Seal.
I got Flex Seal.
Alien tape.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Solution.
But that it's a net new thing is kind of weird.
Yeah, I've never seen it piss backwards from the gutter.
Did a rivet just happen to this year rust out? And now
it's not even, there's not even a place where there's a rivet. It's that's where they put nails or whatever from the gutter to nail onto the trusses.
Oh.
And there's just an open hole there, almost like a nail's missing. I'm I don't understand what's happening.
Oh. That can make sense.
Yeah.
The neighbor just 3 o'clock from, well, not 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock from here, that house has been a rental probably for 15-something years, multiple tenants. And through each tenant, the right-hand side of the two-car garage door, wherever that main gutter drains to, it's clogged.
Oh, wow.
And if it rains, the right-hand side of the two-car garage gutter bows out, and it's just a Niagara Falls from there. And, if I'm out here cleaning mine, open the garage, and you can just hear, I look over, fuck you.
You mean you don't carry your ladder over there and unclog it for him?
When there was a single mom over there, I would do that on occasion.
Okay.
And I did tell her once,
yeah,
it looks like this thing clogs.
She's like, whatever, it's not my house.
She was, oh, okay, thank you. I'm like, so if you see me,
I'm not spying on you.
Yeah, I might be cleaning it. Just let me know. And I've only done it once. Yeah. And I did tell her that one time when I saw her out, because she came over and asked me about the little side tree stuff that we have over here now.
Yeah.
Oh, do you look like it? And I went, oh, and if you see me over here, that does, and you can see it on their garage because their garage door is white, so you can see that the bounce,
the splash
has faded the paint in a way that the rest of the garage door isn't faded.
Yeah,
and so it's this funny how could you not see that something is happening right here?
Yeah,
and also your gutter looks like a folded out fucking spoon,
right?
Because the weight has probably done something similar. It's pulled out a to the rafter kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now the whole gutter just bows out.
Yeah, because there's little connectors on the top side of the gutter that hold the front of the gutter in place, so they don't bow out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
a bracket.
Those surely have blown out over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's fixable.
Right.
But you got to do it.
You have to. No.
Or have your landlord do it.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes the landlord's like, it's fine.
Right.
Whatever.
We'll get right on that. We'll get there.
Yeah, I think Shan's parents have a problem because they rent. And I think they have complained to the landlord or the property manager or whatever on a couple of occasions about cleaning the gutters out.
Mm-hmm.
And they have just never done it.
No.
And they're like, it's not our house, you know. And Raj is 84.
Oh, yeah, no.
He's not getting on a ladder to clean gutters.
No.
So, you know.
Not calling his son-in-law. Not your house either.
I mean, I'd go over and help.
If
but
he, asked.
It's not his house.
But he doesn't.
I don't think he cares enough.
Yeah.
I mean, he cares enough to like say, hey, the gutters, because if it was his house, he would have it done or whatever.
He would take care of it.
Yeah. But seeing how he's 84 and it's not his house, he's like, hey, you should do it. And if they don't do it, it's like, hey, it's your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, sure.
So,
I mean, if he's made them aware and they're
Yeah.
not going to take action on it, well, you're going to probably be replacing a roof or your fucking sheeting at some point.
Yeah.
Because
I was sheeting.
This will just wick up the roof, you fucking idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sheeting.
What?
In the
recently
bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
Anything happen for you this weekend? You got any good any fun things to talk about? Or any not fun things to talk about?
I'm trying to I'm jogging. I was thinking the other day, my dad was down and we're talking about car stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? God, this was probably a couple weeks ago. I think it was an Instagram thing I sent you and your son. It was the Shelby GT something Mustang that had a ridiculous amount of power, and we were making funny ha-has.
Right. Way more power than I have any business driving.
I can't remember if I didn't send that to my dad, but when my dad was here, when both, we had the convertible Mustang, and then when your son drove by with the whatever one he had.
That one was a
Roush?
Shelby Mustang.
It was just a Shelby trim, wasn't it?
It was the Hertz version.
Right.
Yeah.
I told my dad about that. And so today I get a I don't know, some article that he must have been fed for that Shelby Mustang limited edition 36 units. 3,500
horsepower.
850 horse, whatever it was. And it was just the article and you need this. And I replied with, 6 lucky numbers, Dad.
Yeah, sure. I mean, how much is that? What did they say how much it was?
I didn't click on the article because I don't need to know these things.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like.
But I remember watching a thing when I sent it to you guys.
$115,000 or something.
Jesus Christ, could you imagine? It was funny that my dad had sent me that thing. But the interesting conversation that I had with my dad was he went to the Peach Bowl this year as a gift from my sister and brother-in-law, I guess. Technically, is Randy because my sister is attending a degree program for Arizona State. So Arizona State was in a semifinals for the college football series. So she got him tickets for the Peach Bowl.
That was the Sun Devils and the Longhorns.
Yes.
Fight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good game.
Yeah.
Arizona State lost.
Yeah.
And he had slipped earlier in the week when it was somewhere around there, up in the yard, and banged the knee that he had all his reconstruction on.
Oof.
And so it was swollen. So it gave him some problems on the trip.
And not the good kind of swole.
Yeah, not the absolutely not the good kind. But it was tender. He's 76 and change. So it was tender, and it happened like a couple days before the trip. So you're on a flight length from here to Atlanta and car rides, and it's all, I mean, he's got hardware, some serious hardware for a compound femur fracture in his leg.
Yeah.
So he was uncomfortable on the plane. So my sister had sent me a thing, and she was just like, trying to keep an eye on Dad because his knee was really bothering him, and he said he slipped, but and then like he was kind of just really tender about it and called it early a couple times. So she's trying to like raise flags, like make sure Dad's like check in on Dad. So this was happening while I was up, doing yard work a couple times. And it was one of those like things where I'm not quite sure. I wanted to make sure that he was not hiding anything, but yet at the same time,
missed him.
At the same time, it was like, I'm not quite sure if we're in the place where fucker. Is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, nailed it. It's right here. Yeah, double tap. It was like, I'm not quite sure yet if we're in the place where and is it taboo to talk about, like, hey, Dad, and my dad has always, pretty much as a single parent, he's always been pretty forthcoming about, I went to the dentist, or then, this one, and I get the kink in his neck that he has from like a rear end from like six something years ago at this point, and then taking baseballs to the face from kids that are still learning.
Yeah.
He has like a sensitive neck thing that has like always bothered him, that like last year we were like starting to like, hey, like, what's going on? He's always been very upfront about that, but it started to get to a point where, based off whatever it is my sister was noticing, it was like, I think I need to have like a chat, like a sit down chat with my dad about making sure that, like, if you're starting to see something,
say something.
You need to say something to me. And while I think, like I said, my dad's always been very honest with me about his health.
Didn't the Trump administration get rid of that?
What?
If you see something, say something.
I think so.
I don't think that you can use that anymore.
Right. So I was going to say something the last time I was up pruning pomegranates.
Yeah.
Like, we were just in a groove, and I was like, I'll get to it later. I'll get to it.
I don't really want to say something.
Because I didn't know. I didn't think he would be like short about it, but I didn't really know. And I'm like, fucking, what if he's not ready to have that conversation yet? I don't know.
Yeah.
So he came down Friday, and it was. Venus was working. It was Venus's Friday off, so Venus was working on a laptop at the table. Piper was here, but she went to do homework. She had brought food, and my dad shows up, and he sits down at the thing, and I'm at the table, and he's at the bar, and I turned around, and I said, so, Dad, I don't know how to make sure that we're, like, on the level with this conversation. Like, I don't know how to start this.
I don't know how to approach this subject.
So I'm just gonna be completely blunt and clear. I said, I don't know when you and my grandpa had, because he was in a similar situation with my grandpa who lived in Lake Wildwood. #Penn Valley for life. In that he was the only kid up here who pretty much had to take care of my my grandpa when his stuff started to slide. So I told my dad, I said, we're always honest, and I don't know what you share with Kelly and Brett, but I said, you and I need to have an agreement that if you start to notice things are memory, eyesight, hearing, or physical somethings that
anything besides the penis,
right? You can tell me, right?
Because I don't want to know.
You need to tell me. We need to be able to and if you don't want me to disseminate that to the rest of the kids, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I said, you and I need to have an agreement where we can be 100% honest, so that way your safety is taken care of.
Did he storm out of the house?
Absolutely not. He was like, absolutely. I've never. And I went, so how do you feel? He was like, I'm fine. Things are stiff and
old guy stuff.
Old guy stuff.
Yeah.
But feel good. He's everything that I'd asked him bluntly, where 100%, where are you at? It was already stuff I knew.
That's good.
So I'm like, I asked him, when did you and Grandpa have this same kind of thing? Because you ended up having to take care of Grandpa and drive him back and forth from the house when we would do stuff on the weekends. He's like, not for a ways, but he said he didn't necessarily have the conversation. My grandfather at the time had a housekeeper, and the housekeeper was the one that was in conversation with my dad, who was like, he's starting to mix up his medication. He's starting to forget things or misplace things that I didn't touch. And then that put my dad in a route to be upfront with my grandpa. It wasn't that my grandpa came the other way, and it was through the housekeeper who was helping inform my dad and my aunts and uncles. And I went, okay. And that led to an even broader conversation where Venus and I were talking about the shift, the culture shift and the honesty that I think my dad had to be because he was a single parent about being open with us, with his kids, my brother and sister, and I. The difference between my grandpa, he knew, and everyone in the family knew that my grandpa loved his kids and the grandkids. He said, but he said he could count probably on one hand the amount of times that my grandpa told him that he loved him, or showed affection.
Yeah,
he's like, whereas I've told you and your brother and sister countless times, that I love you, and we hug and we show loving affection outwardly, vocally, and physically to each other. And he's like, but I know for a fact that my dad loved me, but there was a disconnect. And so then I asked, I'm like, so when my grandma, she was 50, my grandma from my dad's side, she passed from a brain tumor when she was 50.
Oh, wow.
Which...
That's young.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me at the time, if she looked, and I was perceived her to be old, but yet we're there. So weird. I said, did that change at all his outwardly when grandma had passed? And he went, not really. So he was already kind of baked in. It was just one of those unspoken but yet known things in the family. He's like, your grandpa loved all of us. He would have, laid down, stepped in front of, absolutely, no doubts. But the "I love you" or the greetings of hugs and whatnot was like not a thing. And I went, "So where'd that change for you, though?" And he went, I don't know. He's just like, your mom and I would always tell you that we loved you, so it was something that I was just transitioning as I became a dad. And he's like, and that kind of accelerated, I'm sure.
It's such a generational.
I think so.
Yeah.
And Venus is like actively participating. So we were talking about certainly her dad, because really it's probably a male side bigger leap between generations. Certainly there's probably generational stuff, because we were pointing out grandparents of both genders on both sides of our family. Her dad, I'd made the observation, like, when I met her dad, he and I had a very good relationship at a gentleman level. Like, whenever he would always shake my hand and like hand on the shoulder, like, "Good to see you." I always felt respected and honored by her dad as like not an equal, but he respected and like treated me as someone that he cared for. Like, sure. I wasn't someone that he was meeting or like greeting. I knew he cared. I know he cared. That changed and evolved. Like, I think probably at the advent of grandkids. Like, he started to outwardly show affection and like hug. Like, everything, it became more of a hug. Like, and then it was at that point, I think he didn't get soft. I just think he started to express his love and affection for the family that his daughter was a part of, more outwardly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not sure that happened at any place before our generations above us. I think it was still very much like the males are like, "Hi, how are you doing? And it's good to see you. And I miss you and I care for you." But the very extreme warm fuzzy stuff was not a thing.
It's like a weird guarded thing, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was anyway. So it was like one of those conversations that, God, it was
like the conversation you're describing to me with your dad does not surprise me in the least. From what I haven't met your dad, but just from our conversations about who your dad is, tells me that he gives no fucks about giving you any of that kind of information.
Oh yeah, none.
And it's, oh yeah, of course. Like, what do you want to know, kind of a thing.
Yeah. And some of that too, it wasn't until he left. Some of that too may have come about after his accident with the tractor.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where he was death's door.
Oh yeah.
Death's door.
Yeah.
And then had to recuperate by leaning on his kids. Like, he stayed here until he could walk, and then he transitioned to my sister's house for, mobility, but also to get some space from us and, like, not
because he was sicky or shit.
Right. Could be. Could be. And that, I'm sure that probably changes your perspective on things.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost gone, and did you get a chance to say all the things that you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Man, it was just like a really, it was just a really good conversation to have with like your parents. Like, man, I hope I don't have to hope that he knows that my family loves him and that he loves my family. It's like it's a known, and it's expressed openly.
Yeah.
Like fucking, I would wish every family has an opportunity to not be put in an emergency situation and wonder, did my XYZ love me? Did I do okay? Kind of a thing. Like I know it's an awesome feeling. And a good way to have like a conversation to share that with my kids too. It's like,
Yeah.
you're,
Totally. Just start telling them everything that's wrong with you right now.
right. Well, good enough. I'm a machine, so, nothing's.
They're like, what is that whirring sound?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just my
It's a clockwork.
timing belt.
Yeah. It's fucking bearings are blown out, Shit.
We've been watching this show. Gosh, I don't even know what we're streaming it off of. Maybe from the Disney Channel. Disney. It's called Bailin' Out Loud.
Okay.
And it's a TLC show, I think, that is about a girl who's 22 or so,
Okay.
who has like bad Tourette's.
Okay.
Fascinating show. If you're interested in something new to watch.
Okay.
It's a reality show.
Okay.
And it is so interesting and sad to a certain extent to see what this girl has to go through.
Mm.
And, she just wants to have a normal existence, and she has a boyfriend and
Right.
the challenges therein. And she's got the Tourette's to the point to where she yells stuff like all kinds of crazy shit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She says one of her tics is that when she sees a guy who's bald, she has to tell him they're bald. So she's like, "You're bald," and she can't control it.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so sometimes it's funny, but also like in the moment, I'm sure that's as embarrassing as hell.
Yeah.
She did a thing where she was going to a Tourette's like conference.
Mm-hmm.
She was asked to go speak at this Tourette's conference.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the conversation was, do we even go? Because I'm going to have to fly. Right.
Oh, right.
And deal with airports and the stress. And, one of the reasons why the tics come out is stressful situations.
Yeah,
and
oftentimes there's.
So she goes to the airport and they're waiting in this long ass. They live near DC. So they were at Reagan International. Yeah.
Oh.
Where the crash just happened.
Right.
So they're at Reagan and they're in this long ass line to go through security, TSA. And one of the signs in the line is like, no guns, right? And it has a picture of a gun. And then all of a sudden her tic kicks in and she's like, I got a gun. Poo poo. And she's doing this with her hand. She can't control it. But she's like, I got a gun. I got a gun. Poo poo poo. And it's like, it's funny.
Shit. Right.
It's funny, but also it's not funny.
Right.
Like you laugh, but also it's not fucking funny.
Right.
It's crazy. And then she has it sounds silly, like almost like you're saying something else. She has a tic attack.
Okay.
Which sounds like I'm saying tickle attack. It's nothing like that.
Right.
But essentially her body was overwhelmed, her mind was overwhelmed while they were at the conference, and she like lost her shit.
Oh.
To the point to where her mom is like holding her on the ground while she like is uncontrollable.
Oh, wow.
But she's a bright girl, she's cute, she's everything, right?
What's the name?
It's Bailin, Baylen is her name. Bailin.
Is it a brunette?
kind of Sandy Blondie.
Nope, different person.
Balin Out Loud is the name of the show.
Yeah.
Very good. And very interesting. If you have ever been curious about people with Tourette's, and
I follow a gamer girl, content creator who goes by Sweet Anita, and she has like a hard case, of Tourette's as well.
Yeah.
I find it as because she does like almost like, well, she's a content creator, so you see her like play games and like engage with her chat, and she do verbal pops but also balls.
Yeah,
I fucked you hard.
Yeah,
all of the.
Oh yeah.
It's funny to watch in the moment because you're not there and you're not impacted, but yet at the same time the awkwardness and the only perceivable struggle that this person must be having, but also if you're a partner and your dick's small, your dick is small.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, are you zinging me, or are we?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like it's weird because one of the sayings she says all the time is, "It's raining vaginas."
Oh yeah.
It's raining vaginas, and you're like, "Whoa, dude!"
Right.
And it's like there's a whole slew of them that she uses,
right,
that are fairly consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And while the sayings are funny, the situations that she's in, where she's making these sayings, is not really funny.
There's the
like if you and I were just sitting around saying it's raining vaginas with each other, we would be like, it would be funny.
Sure.
But this, she can't control whether or not she's yelling this thing.
Right. I can only imagine like the hardship, like you want to go to Safeway to get a loaf and you walk in.
That was another thing they showed.
Someone is in the self-checkout and they're bald and she's like, "You're bald." Like,
yeah, well, there's she has the verbal tics, and then she also has and then she just has like the clicky tics and that kind of stuff, or whoop or whatever she does. But then there's like facial things and neck movements, and she says those are painful because if she can't control them, it's just like her
snap.
Yeah, constant snap or whatever tweaking is happening. She says it's actually quite painful. But one of the other thing that she has is she has to do everything 3 times.
Oh, like an obsessive compulsive.
Yes.
Oh.
So she's got some OCD thing going on in addition to the Tourette's. So like there was one instance where her and her sister were having a conversation in the kitchen, and her sister had like a plate, and she like smacked the plate. And then the sister's like, "What the fuck?" And, obviously she knows she's got Tourette's, but she's like, "What the fuck?" And then Balin is like, "I have to do it 2 more times." So then she just smacked it 2 more times, and it's like, she's like, "Okay,"
Right.
And the parents are really good about just ignoring the tic or whatever.
Sure.
And, obviously they're so accustomed to it to a certain extent that they don't react to the stuff. It's just like they happen, and the family just kind of lets it go for the most part. But man, it's really heartbreaking to see that what some of these folks have to deal with on a daily basis. And her whole goal in life is to move out of her parents' house. She wants to live on her own. And her parents are just like, can that even happen? Like, we don't even know if that, can she be in her kitchen and not burn the place down, or, not cut with a knife at something 3 times or whatever it is.
Right.
And then they do show a little bit of her in the kitchen trying to cut chicken. Oh man, that's tough. That's really tough. So if you're interested in that, Balin Out Loud. Really interesting show. If you get a chance to look it up, if you're interested at all in what the Tourette's is a fascinating syndrome.
Oh yeah, I watched that young lady, her streams and her talk about, because oftentimes she'll on her stream she'll do what is Twitch's it's like chat, it's like real chat or something, whatever the just abstract, not streaming something, but they just talk about random like this.
Yeah.
But on stream.
Like, yeah.
She'll talk about, someone will ask a question.
Is that live vlogging or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll ask, what it's like, or, random, obviously obtuse, insensitive question like, well, what happens when you're having sex? Do you like, say something awkward in the moment kind of thing?
Don't feel that.
Right, yeah. Are you even in yet?
Yeah.
Suck it twice.
Yeah.
I've had better. Right. You suck.
Yeah.
But she openly talks about it.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to, as much as it is probably insensitive to get entertainment out of someone's disability, she's open about it and will often converse about it, talk about medical procedures or pharmaceuticals that are helping her get a hold of it or reduce the tick frequency.
Yeah, they talked about that too.
Stuff like that. What did I just see that I didn't know? Billie Eilish has it.
Oh, really?
And has, while I'm not sure she's extremely overtly open about it, I have seen, once I knew it was a thing, if you don't have to get far to get into like an algorithm feeding you interviews where she like starts to have like a head tick, or like phone recordings of her on stage where she's having like a small episode where she has to like take a pause from a set to like get through it.
I didn't know that.
Or in middle of a song, she'll have to like pause to
wait for it to pass.
Right, and then she'll pick up.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't know. Turns out Billie Eilish, and very supportive of those in the community that also have it. So it's like I should check it out because I do have it. I follow people.
Yeah,
that
Yeah, no, it's interesting stuff. I really, I didn't think I was going to want to watch this show, but when you started watching it, it was like, oh, this is interesting.
It helps put my own inequalities into perspective.
Yeah.
Like I have problems like speaking to people in public, and I don't necessarily have anything to excuse that outside of just punch through it. I don't have it's nothing random is going to stop me from it's just courage.
Yeah.
Like
just do it without thinking about it.
Yeah, just get out there and do it.
I mean, Melly had a little bit of a meltdown tonight because she was going to some audiology dinner that she got invited to go to in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So she had to drive down there, and it was at some kind of fancy restaurant of some kind, and they had valet parking. She's like, I don't know where to park. I don't know what to do with the valet parking. I'm like, usually they just have a stand out front, and you just like pull up, and they take your keys and give you a ticket, and you park your car. And she's like, what? So I just like park in the street? And she's getting all like,
oh yeah,
insane about it, or what? Not insane, but like kind of losing her mind a little bit.
Overreactive.
Yeah,
okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And a little wild. And I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
Like nothing I'm going to say is going to change the way you're thinking.
Right.
So
you're probably just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And
then she left kind of disheveled when she left the house, and it was like, can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
You just have to do the thing.
Right.
And it's probably good for you to do the thing if
Yeah.
it bothers you that much,
Right.
I think.
Well, it was like early summer, November-ish. I don't remember if we covered it on here. Piper and Nick went up to South Shore for like a weekend thing. And she had asked me, she's like, we're going to go up 50.
Don't do it.
Is that something that's like doable? And I went,
No.
Yeah. Like, it's not like 80. You're going to wind around, and you're going to be
2 lanes.
It's
Yeah.
2 lanes. I said, but it's a paved road.
It's not a wagon trail.
Right. Like, there's no reason. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, and I'm driving. She's taking the Miata. She was going to drive Nick. And I went, that's absolutely within your wheelhouse. Like, you'll be fine. I said, and if you don't like it, well, then you could have Nick drive you home.
Yeah.
Like, but you should try it at least once to know where your confidence barriers are.
Your limitations.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, just try it once. And if you get in a place where you're not comfortable, then you can always pull off the road and let Nick drive. But you shouldn't not try it.
Yeah.
Being stopped by what you think may happen. And she went up, came back, and she was like, nope, I don't like that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She was like...
So was there ice and stuff on the ground that bothered her? Or?
No, she just didn't like the
narrow road.
Almost like the... I'm going to say claustrophobic, but she just didn't like the tightness
of the car or the road?
Of the road.
Oh.
Like
I like 50.
Well...
You didn't care for it when you went up there.
I didn't care for it because I don't care for the fucking traffic. But it was a well-maintained road.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the traffic. Like, the traffic was
I don't have
bullshit.
Been on it with a lot of traffic recently, so I can't imagine it's any good.
Yeah. No.
I mean, usually where I see traffic
fine.
is when you get into Placerville. That's about the main place where I would see traffic, is as you're rolling into Placerville from the mountainside.
Yeah, it was road's fine. I would prefer to drive 50.
It's a fun road.
The scenery is way better than 80.
Well, and it's a fun road to drive.
And it's a fun road to drive.
Yeah.
But not in its current state at 2 lanes with the amount of traffic that probably comes up and goes on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nah, I mean, if you're going to go on a weekday or maybe on a off weekend, that's not like a holiday weekend or something.
You got to shoot like the noon timeline to get the drive.
If you don't go in the morning and then the evening,
right?
If in the morning up and the evening back, then you're fine. Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah. Weekday.
Plus, man, you can really driving downhill, coming from Tahoe down towards Sacramento. You can hypermile that shit. It's fun. That's actually kind of fun.
There were a lot of CHP on my way back down.
Was there?
Yeah. I almost think that they're like...
It's worse than 80?
As far as being monitored?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like, after I came through Placerville, like, it was like Apple Maps is like...
Oh.
Here's
another one.
Speed check ahead.
Here's another one.
Speed check ahead. And then right as I got down into... What's the Prairie City Road that, like, where Palladio exit is?
Folsom?
Yeah, there were guys, like, I'm like, man, it's a good thing I'm an old man and I was set at 65 because fucking, dude.
Now, see, I always think that the Apple Maps telling you there's a speed check ahead is because you are going over the speed limit. GPS-wise, the app knows how fast you're going, right?
Yes.
And so my thought there is that they are putting a speed check in there because there's a lot of times I'll get a speed check and there's never anything there.
Oh.
And that's very possible that there was a CHP and someone reported it, and so it's telling you that there was something there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's moved on, and that's probably what is actually happening. But in my mind, That's Apple's way of like going, hey man,
hey buddy,
slow down,
you
buddy.
Sure you want to do that?
You're doing 78 or whatever, and it's only at 65.
I thought it would. I don't drive a lot, so the frequency in which I drive, where I had seen those on 80 going between here and my dad's 8049, and I'd seen those alerts pop up. I'd never seen one, and I'd seen an actual CHP person.
See, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't until the Santa Barbara trip with Piper where we got one on the way back up, coming up from Santa Barbara back to here, and it was just outside Slow. It popped up, and I was going to say, like, are these real? Do you get these? Do you get these too? Like, are these real?
Yeah.
And sure shit, there was a CHP parked in the center median. And I went, so do you know how these are populated? And Piper's like, yeah, you just boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
Boop. Like, you can
speed check.
Yeah, there's one here, beep, beep. And I went, oh, but it was the first time I'd actually seen the alert pop up, and
there be one,
and there be one, and I went, okay, so now I have to put legitimacy into it, and it's entirely possible that a series of people have come through here, done the needful, and tagged it as like, yep, this is a hot zone, and now it propagates down to the idiots coming up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's possible that they've moved. I can only imagine if I was a fucking CHP person.
It wouldn't take long.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I get on my Apple Maps that there's now a speed check alert here. Yeah, I'm fucking moving.
The cop gets their own Apple Map speed check.
Right, fucking, absolutely.
Oh, I got to move.
Yeah, I got to move now.
I'm not the good
fucking the reverse popo got me.
You would think from see, now, there's two ways to look at this. You would think from a CHP law enforcement standpoint that they wouldn't want Apple Maps
to do that,
to be popping up that shit all the time, so they could actually write tickets and generate revenue.
Sure.
That would be my guess.
Sure.
However, part of me says they don't want to write tickets, and part of me says that they would go to Apple and say, hey, if you know their GPS speed, right? And they're going over the speed limit, because when you're using guidance or a route plan, it knows what the speed limit is for that road.
Sure.
So what the speed limit is for the road, how much faster they are going beyond the speed limit. Maybe just pop it up.
I could 100% see that scenario.
Yeah.
Like, listen, one, if they're concerned, so your tickets. If they're concerned about revenue, they probably wouldn't like it. But if they're concerned about actually increasing safety, well, then they probably don't mind it, because if people are getting alerts,
then it's slowing them down.
Then it's hopefully slowing the smart people who are paying attention down. Also, even in instances where they're not really there, I could totally see, listen, on X number of cars running Apple Maps in this area, if there is a percentage of those users at 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, send anyone in that zone the alert.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they're actually doing.
Like, I could totally see that happen.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you get a percentage of the percentage to be like, oh, shit, come back down 7 miles an hour.
Then you're winning.
Then you win.
Yeah.
Because if the ultimate goal is driver safety at reasonable speeds, some people will draw back the speed.
Right. Yeah.
You hope.
It makes logical sense.
Sure.
Is that actually happening? I mean, I haven't read anything.
There's no way for you and me at half a mile apart from half a mile apart from the oncoming traffic to corroborate. Are you also getting the alert that was right here? Like,
you're never going to prove that.
You're never going to know.
No.
You're never going to know, which makes
makes
the idea plausible.
Unless you've got a caravan of cars driving down, and you can be like, "Oh, did you get the blah blah?"
Oh yeah.
You know.
So there's 100% of, like, I could see, if I knew about this thing in my heyday, we're doing a Disneyland trip with like 4 cars. Be like, okay, when we get to Lathrop, everyone at this overpass, tag it, and then we'll see if we can get Apple to punch through and say, right? You could fuck with people, like, random place in the middle, like just before the cows, just like start flagging the system with like 5 or 6 cars.
Is that because people have done that? Or is it because Apple's got an agreement with law enforcement to just throw some in there if there's enough people going over the speed limit at a certain pace?
I think you probably have your good Samaritans that are like, oh, I will help someone behind me. Like, know that there's like motorcycle riders and the cop signal.
Oh yeah,
that they'll do if they see
Yeah.
This Apple Maps toggle is probably not all that different, but then you could probably have your little shits or asshats that are like, well, there's like 5 of us cars and we're all going to fucking Great America, so let's fucking pop a radar check in the middle of nowhere just to get somebody to slow down for fucky.
And then I also want to know, how many cars does it take to trigger that?
Right.
Is it just one report?
Right.
Is it 5? Is it 3?
Yeah.
Is it 10?
What's the threshold for?
Yeah.
We'll start passing this to
Because,
others.
for instance, you didn't know that you could even do it.
Right.
So how many people are actually using that functionality? Like, I would say probably most people that use Apple Maps don't even realize they can probably do that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know you can do it. I've never done it.
Usually, right? I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to spend the time to like, oh, there's a CHP, and now I'm going to.
I mean, it's only a couple taps on the screen, but like, I don't think about it in the moment. I'm like, shit, how fast am I going?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not like, oh, I better tell everybody. You know what I mean?
I'm going to help people.
Yeah.
No, that's not in my. Nope, I'll make sure 65. But this guy's going right past me.
But I would like to say that I would like to do it. I just don't think about it in the moment.
Right. You got to write a hot shortcut on your phone to be able to like boop boop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell Siri to do it? I don't know.
Oh. I don't know. Probably. Maybe.
Maybe.
If it's actively running maps, maybe.
I don't know. I just think it's a fascinating thing that I haven't read much about on the internet. Like, I haven't seen any talk about it.
Mm.
And then I just wonder what's the mechanism behind it?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Apple users out there using CarPlay, right? And using maps to do routing. So it's like the chances are that somebody's doing it, but I can't imagine that many people are.
Mm.
It's got to be a small percentage.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know. Someone tell us.
No. Yeah.
Someone tell us.
Work time.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
Les sigh.
Yeah. How's your gas prices?
They're up.
How's your egg prices?
They're up.
How's your produce prices?
They're up.
How's your interest rates?
They're down. Also, the markets were shit too this week.
Are there tariffs? Are there not tariffs?
I mean, there's so many unknowns.
Dave told me that he was in the airport listening to the podcast where you teed a fuck you and fuck you at the tail end of the one podcast.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was audibly laughing out loud and people were like looking at me. I'm like, Jim was pissed. And he's like, clearly.
Yes.
He's like, I was laughing my ass off.
Oh.
I went, fucking sorry about that.
Not that he agreed or anything. He just thought it was funny.
No, he was just actively laughing at how passionate you were, and you were just teeing off on everybody. I'm like, well, that happened.
I was mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, he was hot. He was fucking hot.
I was taking the dog for real quick. I know we're at time.
Yeah, we're good.
Taking the dog for a walk today and ran into a neighbor whom I know is not a Trump supporter. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And her house is one of the few houses in the neighborhood that actually had Harris Walls stuff out front.
Okay.
Not that many houses in my neighborhood did, but hers was for sure one of the few. And I think about her often. We've been friends. I mean, she's an original owner in her home as well as we are. So we have known each other for 28 or 9 years, however long. Okay. We've been to parties at their house and blah, 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 right? So today I ran into her and her granddaughter at the park. And she was like, so how's it going for you? And I'm like, well, you know, in between all the depression, it's fine. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, we've thought about you guys a lot because we know.
You guys were balls out.
Yeah. And,
with your science. Yeah.
And we were wondering how you guys were doing. So it was a good conversation. It's good to have some like-minded people near you. And so first time I actually got her phone number so that we can text because she was like, oh, I'm going to start contacting, what's his name? Our rep or whoever it is, Kylie.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'm going to start calling him. And I'm like, oh, then I've got some information that you're going to want for when you do call. Yeah. And it was a Reddit post that someone else sent to me that says, here's how you talk to your representatives.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I should send it to you.
You should. I would like to see it.
It is very detailed and a lot of very interesting information in it. But I was like, give me your phone number. I want to send you this. If you're going to talk to, if you're planning, she's retired.
Kevin Kiley.
Yeah. That's our representative.
Representative.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm like, if you're going to be calling, I would love for you to have this information, you know,
right.
Do whatever you want to do, but this will give you some good tips. And I think it's written very well. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. So I sent it to her this afternoon. But one of the interesting facts in that write-up is it said that typically prior to the election, there was a 4-to-1 Republican to Democrat caller ratio into your senators and House of Representatives. And that's part of the reason why some of these politicians have swayed the way that they have is just from sheer volume of Republican callers. Oh. And they don't look at email. They just chuck emails. They don't care. Or letters. They don't care about letters. They want phone calls. So, whatever. So I was telling her, I was like, you know, if you just had time to sit around and fucking call your people a couple times a week, then that's fine, you know? But it's an interesting write-up. The 4-to-1, by the way, was the minimum. There was even one statistic said 11-to-1. So wow. So it was a very skewed. It's like they had a grassroots thing happening. That
it's probably that and a lot of overconfidence and bots.
The bots are making phone calls now.
Yeah, the bots.
The AI bots.
Fuck, the amount of shit that guy on TikTok who's doing the voiceover, that's getting progressively better.
I know.
Hey, you fucking buddies.
Yep.
You get your ass up and have yourself a great day.
Yeah.
Kick the shit out of your mom's. You know,
yeah.
It's like.
I know what you're talking about. It's impressive.
The intonations in the voice are starting to get.
Like, is that a real person?
Yeah. There were. Early on, I was like, who's doing all these? Oh, shit.
Oh, that's AI.
That's a.
It's reading a script.
Yeah. God damn. Wow.
This is one of the big deals that's happening in the television world is the AI stuff is really starting to take hold of a lot of companies' wares.
Yeah.
And so that's a thing that's happening that people are concerned about.
We have a funny thing. We have a funny thing that started to happen in our when we played Dungeons and Dragons. Is now usually somewhere along the way, someone will do something, and they'll go generate a picture from this event, and usually it has to deal with Tracy. Her druid can shapeshift into various things, and she likes bears and rhinos. And anyway, so it is. I did a thing, and Fu generated a picture of like a thumbnail of this event of me doing a thing, and so now it's in like her Instagram posts, like when we do a Dungeons and Dragons thing, it usually includes the fucking.
Oh, wild!
It's like a fun way to
put a visual to a non-visual game.
Yeah, I shapeshifted into a polar bear, and my character has green eyes, and I wear like a small tiara crown thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I bit a guy on the ass. So it's like, make me a polar bear that has green eyes with a tiara and a bloody maw because I bit a dude in the ass. Also, someone was riding on my back, so I have a saddle. And you punch that into Midjourney, and you get a thing, and everyone has a fucking laugh because it's like,
that's funny.
It was a thing.
I know.
On that note, you should return the cart.
Should wash your ass.
Wash your hands.
Check your oil, Tony. I hope you're doing that.
Stay up to date on your shots.
Make the call if you need to.
Register to vote.
Do the kindness.
Pick up a broom. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right, bye.